This conference will now be recorded.
Good afternoon. The time being 4:45 p.m., I'd like to call the meeting of March 18th to order. Before we get started, if you're joining us virtually, please mute your microphone during the meeting unless you want to speak. Otherwise, background noise will interfere with the meeting. Because space is limited due to social distancing requirements, we're providing access to the meeting via telephone and the GoToMeeting platform. Members of the public wishing to attend this meeting via phone may call the following conference call number at 1-866-899-4679. The access code is 817-026-717. Members of the public wishing to use the GoToMeeting platform may access the meeting remotely using your smartphone, tablet, or computer at global.gotomeet.me/town of selectmen and then /selectmen. This information can be found on our website at tiltonnh.org under meeting schedule and agendas under the Board of Selectmen. Will you please wait till John comes in and sit down? I want to do this in the middle. Oh, did you?
Yes.
Did you? I thought about it.
Everybody.
I thought about it.
Did you? Okay.
I walked all the way in.
Oh. Wait, did you walk in? I got almost to the ramp. I crossed the street and I looked and I said,
I don't see any cards. Okay, would you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, the first thing on our agenda this evening is to select a new chair, vice chair, and the board committee and appointments. That being said, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Eric Pyra as the chairman of the Board of Selectmen for the next year. Is there a second?
Second, Ruggles.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any discussion? I will say, I think it's a good, oh, John?
yeah, I mean, I think I'd like to appoint Pat and have Eric as the co-chair or not the co-chair, but
We did that once. It didn't work out.
not the co-chair, the
Vice Chair.
vice chair.
Vice chair.
Yeah, and it's just to give Eric some time to work along and try being chair and trying it out.
Okay. I would say that I'd like to give Eric the opportunity. He's got a year under his belt here at the Board of Selectmen, and I also think that it's a good idea to change it up. For years and years, we went back and forth, and I'd like the new guy. Or not the new guy. You're the new guy now. You got out of that one, Eric. So that's all I got to say. Pat?
I wouldn't mind being chair. I have something I think that I can offer. I was vice chair last year. I'd like to be chair one more time. All I have to say.
Scott?
I think I'm in the same vein as you, Joe, just getting to, I think having a change of eyes, someone who, yes, he's had the year of experience, but I think, he's had a challenging year, as we all have. And I think, sort of giving that change of eyes and that having him come in and use his perspective after that year would not be a bad thing.
Eric, are you willing to do it? You feel you can? Okay. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Okay, the ayes have it. You want to take the plaque right this second or start at the next one?
Meeting.
Next meeting?
Oh, I'll do it for the next meeting.
Okay. Give you a chance to work with Jeannie and prepare yourself accordingly. Okay. The next thing is to review the minutes from March 11th.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair. Point of order, Vice Chair.
Oh, golly, yes. And all those other ones too. Yeah, I've got that list.
I got the list.
See, I've already moved on, John.
I'll appoint Pat as vice chair, just fill in if, there's something that,
I'll second that. Feel she's got the experience, certainly. And you can ask questions if you need to. But you'll be fine.
He answered me the other day.
Mhm.
Okay, is there any other discussion?
Didn't wake you up. Did I wake you up?
Okay, hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'll
Opposed?
abstain.
Let the record show. Budget Committee. The ex officio for the Budget Committee is next. Is there a motion to be made?
Does the current ex officio want to continue? That would be a question.
That is the question. Okay.
I think, I did it because we didn't have anybody else last year that wanted to do it. I think it's a good idea to have somebody else in there. I've been doing it for, I think, 25 years. And I'd like to get a little break from it. I think it's one of the best ways to see how the money all works. Because in actuality, it's the budget committee's budget that goes to the legislative body. So I don't know if Scott would be able to do it. It's a really good good learning experience on it.
It certainly would.
So the only question I have is what night does it meet on?
Wednesday.
That would be the only rub there would be the fact that when my coaching schedule, knock on wood, is regular in the fall, Wednesdays I could be in Kents Hill, Maine. So that's
Well,
Wednesday's the only
There's an
day.
alternate position for
Okay.
this as well.
Okay, yeah. So Wednesday's the only day where there's that rub. That's it. That's the only one that there could be.
Well, would you be willing to accept it? In conjunction with an alternate ex officio that would fill in when
Sure.
the schedule didn't permit you to be there?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it actually would be a good experience to be able to get in and see
No,
the
no,
budget.
how the
So,
money is appropriated,
Yeah,
because now
yeah.
here you're doing the spending.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
There's also a class available for you too as well from
Oh,
the
yes, and books and.
New Hampshire Municipal
Jeannie and
Association.
Gail, Tim is invaluable in this process.
Good. Okay.
The budget is kind of Tim's.
Yes,
Yeah.
I would be happy to.
They pretty much stay the same, but sometimes they release,
We can figure it out. So we
So
can.
do you want to be the ex officio?
Alternate?
No, he's going to be the ex officio?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Unless it is
But his
Coaching
schedule is not
thing,
going to be,
for, a certain amount of weeks, he would
but in the
be.
fall, it's every week. Up until now, it's once a
Wednesdays.
month.
It could be, well, and the other thing is, though, some of them could be home games, so I would be able to
Oh,
make it
okay,
in
got
time.
it.
But there are a couple that we travel on.
Yeah.
So,
So
Big road trips on Saturday.
yeah, we wish.
are you good with that one, Eric? The alternate?
Alternate?
Oh, I'm the alternate?
Well, I'm asking you if you're up for that.
Yeah, I'm up for that.
All right. Yes. I don't think so.
Mhm.
Yeah, you do.
Do we actually need
Yeah.
motions? Never mind then. I make a motion to appoint Scott Ruggles as the Budget Committee ex officio. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Abstain.
Okay. Let the record show. I make a motion to appoint Eric Pyra as the alternate budget ex officio.
Ruggles second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, the motion passes.
I'm free.
You're free?
Yeah, you've been on that.
Yeah, yeah. You
I'll-
deserve it, John. You've done your time.
Oh, you get no hair left from it.
Bud. Okay, the next thing is the planning board ex officio. Eric, you did it last year and I was the alternate, but I would be willing to take it this year. I started out on the planning board initially. It was my first real committee assignment. More kind of.
Yeah, I have a problem with that. So I'll nominate Joe Jessman as the planning board ex officio.
Ruggles second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any discussion?
I'd like to do it. I've got a little bit of experience, but I haven't had the opportunity to do that. And this is my last year.
You know what, John? I'm totally good with that. If you want,
This is
if
my
you
last
really
year,
want
so-
to do it, I'm all
Yeah.
about that. And I could be the alternate maybe.
Alternate.
Sure.
Motion to have John Scanlon be the ex officio for planning board.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have multiple seconds. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Make a motion that we have Joe Jessamine as the alternate ex officio of the planning board.
Second, Ruggles.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 I'll abstain. The next thing is the Parks Commission. And this is going to be the first time in 10 years, probably, there isn't a selectman that is on the Parks Commission. So
How
it's been
is it just once a
Catherine and Peter, like for 10 years.
Oh, that's right.
They just meet once a month?
Yeah, I think so.
I would be very interested in that only because I have they've tried to get me in the past to be on there just as a regular person and I have lots of ideas and I would be very interested in doing that one.
It could be a good fit.
I'll make a motion to appoint Eric Pyra as the ex officio to the Parks Commission. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second by Selectman Constantino. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
With one abstention, I'm sure. Okay, there's also room for an alternate.
I think I'd like the alternate.
Second that.
All those in favor, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, abstain, I'm sorry. Thank you. How often do they meet? Is it just an annual or is it do you know?
I don't know.
Wait, John, you're the ex officio currently
No,
and I'm the alternate and I don't think I've ever
What?
been to a meeting.
Have you ever met?
That's what it
I
says
didn't,
here.
on the parks?
No, not parks.
No,
Trail
Trail Advisory.
The Tilton Trail Advisory.
Yeah, that's maybe twice a year.
You still want to be on it?
Never even,
I can unless somebody else
I've
wants
never even been
to.
notified of a meeting. And I'm the ex officio.
You're
Because
the-
John was able to make those meetings.
You a full ex officio
That's what it says
last
here.
year?
That says ex officio alternate,
Oh, alternate. So they
but it
would,
says ex officio alternate. I don't know.
So, yeah. Yeah, so they would notify him and then,
Yeah.
yeah. They should notify both of you at the same time and then one can't make it.
I just wonder sometimes I got.
yeah.
Unless somebody else wants to do that.
I mean, for 1 year, I'd be the alternate for you.
Or you want to just jump in there?
Sure, I'll go for it a couple times. a year,
Make-
yeah.
Motion to appoint John Scanlon.
Well, I think Scott wanted it.
Yeah.
Oh, I
We-
thought it
yeah.
was the other way around.
No,
Yeah.
Okay, then I would withdraw that motion as being.
Second,
We have a motion. Discussion. By saying aye.
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 Abstain.
Oh,
One abstention. Alternate participation.
Second.
Ooh.
Okay, let's see how this is going. Question, all those-
Aye.
alrighty then.
Is Kevin the ex officio of the Concord Regional Solid Waste, or is it Joe?
It's not the.
Or is it just two members? Okay.
Tilton has, to the fact I've been there 10 years. Tilton-
I'll make a motion that we keep Joe Jessamine as the member for a 3-year term for Concord Regional Solid Waste RRC member.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. Is there? None. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 And I'll abstain. All the record. Cooperative. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. None. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Hey, Gail, we just need the meeting once.
Oh,
It says till 2023.
I'm looking for volunteers to.
Go ahead. Got it.
John was on it last year.
Oh, got it.
I'll do it. I've got some plans. I mean, we haven't met, but like for the insulating and stuff like that and the
Yeah.
sewer stuff and,
All right, motion John for the Energy Committee.
I'll second that.
Aye.
Aye.
I'll make a motion for the Belknap County Economic Development and Lakes Region Planning Commission for Jeannie.
Second.
doing a great job on that stuff and I would not want to interrupt the,
Nope.
Was that for the Belknap Economic Committee and the Lakes Region
Yep.
Planning Commission?
Both of them.
So on, that's good, but on the Lakes Region Planning Commission, there's one available because Leanne is up in 2021. So that's a.
Oh, I didn't understand that. So Jeannie's until 2021, so we'll scratch that. So
Belknap County.
I'll amend my motion for the Belknap County Economic Development for Jeannie and the Lakes Region Planning Commission for Leanne Moynihan.
I'll second that.
Okay. Saying none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Planning Commission.
Oh,
Just as
was this a-
I was gonna say.
Yep.
Transportation,
TAC.
Yeah.
LURP TAC,
Technical Advisory
LURP
Committee.
TAC.
It's two. On the transportation tech.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion, we keep Mike Satar.
Aye.
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 Eric Pyra is the alternate. Pyra?
Eric, you-
Yeah, it makes sense.
Straight up there. Yeah, you've been involved.
I don't think he misses it. I think he's president, so it's really hard for him to miss a meeting. So,
You can always attend. as
I'll
an
second that, Joe.
yeah.
Let me spin it out. One at a time. I make a motion. Eric Carver is the Lakes Region Youth alternate member.
Second.
Aye.
The plant.
Yeah, yeah. How's your wrist?
Great.
Okay.
Yeah, they're good. Yep, they're really getting much better.
All right. I will make.
I'll second that.
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Motion carried. Housing standard.
By the ordinance, one selectman. And I'm with the one is on it now currently.
They
So
meet once a year.
once a year, we meet annually. I was on the committee to create the housing ordinance, so it
Okay.
doesn't matter to me.
Nominate Pat if she's willing to
Yeah.
continue.
Yeah. So.
Either I fudge it. No,
you
I'm just
should-
kidding. Yeah.
Okay, we have a motion in a second. Is there any? Pardon me?
Thank,
Seconded the motion?
Aye.
yeah,
I made the
John,
No,
motion.
John made the
Created.
motion.
Joe did, yeah.
Okay, Joe seconded.
All those
I'm,
in favor, please.
aye.
Aye.
I have one other question. If I've abstained from that. I have one other question. The RCC is not on this list.
RCs.
What's RCC?
The Regional Council, and that's usually Jane Alden.
What is it? RCC?
The regional, yeah, She go-
She knows and was on there with me.
yeah, she goes to all the meetings.
We haven't been there in a couple of years.
Oh, she's gone to the meetings. Continues to go to the meetings, so
It's not even listed on this.
last month. You don't have any record of that, or?
Last word, they weren't meeting.
Well, they are. Zoom, they're meeting Zoom. So,
What's RCC stand for?
Regional Coordinating Council.
It's a transportation.
And it's,
We don't have a short bus anymore.
yeah, they have,
How about that?
Oh,
they
wait,
have the Trip Center, they have Concord, it's Belknap County, Merrimack County, and it's a takeoff from TAC, really. They coordinate with TAC,
Yeah.
I think.
I
That's
thought
what
the
they
Trip
do.
Center was their own deal.
Okay, well,
No,
we can
I-
take it up
The Trip
another,
Center- The Trip Center is actually,
Oh,
right,
okay.
yeah.
So what is it? RCC is regional.
We can research it and come back at another time. It's not that important. I know that she's attended the meetings as late as last month, so. Oh,
Regional Coordinating
I tell you,
Commission?
my understanding
Regional
is
Coordinating
that
Commission.
They
Yeah.
dissolved it, we
Council.
dropped out,
Council.
but we haven't been. I don't think that.
I sat through one last month. Cindy Yansky
Okay.
and Terry Page
Terry Page, yeah.
and Cindy Yansky are doing it. And I get the email every month and Jane goes.
Well,
I get it because of the senior center, but Jane gets it because she's a member of RCC.
I say we do what Pat said. Let's find out a
But-
little bit and then
We'll,
if we have to
we'll
bring it back and
research it
table it
and
again.
get back
Yep.
because I know
So
she
it's-
attends the meetings, so,
Regional Coordinating,
yeah.
Council,
I think
so-
it's, yeah,
so,
Regional Coordinating Council,
so there's Grafton, Coas, Carroll, Midstate, which
Belknap, Merrimack
Sullivan
County.
County, Monadnock, Region 6 merged with Region 5, Region 7, and then Region 8 is Southern, Region 9,
Yeah.
maybe we're Midstate.
Yes, we are.
Midstate, yeah,
Midstate RCC.
right.
The last update was, look at that. Member, well, it just says member organizations.
All right,
Move on.
yep, let's move on. We'll get to it. It's not important.
Okay,
Well, it is, but it isn't.
yes, absolutely. I make, no, I'll bring the
Well,
meeting minutes from. Discussion. Is there anything corrections? Or any other discussion on?
I did, yes.
Okay. It took some time, sometimes you need.
I briefed myself on them, so
Okay,
it's good.
terrific. Question, I make a motion to approve the March 11th as
I'll
Second.
second.
okey-dokey. All those in
I'm just on the
favor, please
website.
signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passed.
Mr. Chairman. Well, Gail's here. She does the transposing of these. How are we doing with sound and is it, okay, yeah.
Except for the microphone.
My mic on, yes. No, it's perfect.
The handhelds work beautifully as well. It's just people in the audience have to use the microphones to be heard.
So why are we talking about it? Okay.
Maintain it. No, bid and late.
Right,
I'm thinking of something else.
You were
Okay.
thinking pest house.
There was questions about deeds. I would like to know, or fact, how much.
if I'd known that, I would have brought the deeds.
I think I did.
I think I have them. It doesn't say what we were gonna discuss on it, so.
We had a rough. This was kind of like. There was a whole bunch of.
Will we plow up to the fence, correct? The, up to our fence, up to that fence is our road, correct? It's a,
Driveway.
it's a drive, yeah.
Now, prior to that, I believe, and I was, because I had an interest. Box and stuff, really create a choke point there. Spot. To
Burning house.
where I believe the boundary was, anyway. Talking about.
So what you want to do,
That's where we plowed to.
so Joe, what you're trying to do, because it was taken off and tabled, what you're trying to determine is the delineation between our and theirs. And that so that we know where we stand in the setbacks and they have to abide by that. And that's what you want to do.
It's gonna be
Okay,
our road.
Right.
Now, it's got tracks right up to the,
right. I get it.
whatever that,
Right.
I would like to know.
On this plan that's signed into the Belknap County Register of Deeds with the registrar, it shows what they own. If you look at
A
the,
mark on the ground.
at the end of the driveway for the former Agway building.
Like,
if you
it
can
looks
see.
like it's like a
And
couple
this-
feet past that, or.
And, yeah, and there was some bollards there. I don't know if they were removed.
There's bollards there?
Yeah, they,
One, years ago, there was some bollards and
Mhm.
marks.
I didn't see them. I went up there and didn't see
I
them.
haven't seen them.
I was up there. That
Mhm.
road wasn't posted.
Right.
A
Hmm.
big truck.
What would be on this map is, but we have to locate those positions. I don't know if there's some stakes. I would think that they would have had it surveyed at some point,
Well,
put some
that's-
stakes,
This
that was-
is surveyed.
That's surveyed, isn't it?
Yeah.
and that there would be some, either spikes or something in the ground there.
There must be something, but do we have to have our own surveyor go in and do it? Because I thought at town meeting, it sounded like they want us to sell it and not just give it to them. Unless I misheard.
There's a reason. There's.
Hmm.
Runs out through that.
And there's also a culvert that goes
True
underneath.
enough, but they- Things like that. Had issues in the past, snow into the winter. Parking and stuff
I can't
where
tell.
they
It says something around
didn't
Polly.
belong. We've been
I believe that it would be in the files of the land use office somewhere, but I believe we have a plan. I was just gonna go dig through it. A plan for what utilities are there and how they would be, because when that had another proposed for that back lot, even for the stuff that they're doing just recently, I believe that there's a plan that has all the underground utilities and overhead utilities too. So we can probably get that fairly easily for that information.
and
Yeah, I just magnified, or actually Scott did. And it says that there's a half. So it is marked.
Get your metal detector.
Well, I suggest that you take the map and Kevin and with the wheel and go out, find those,
Their dimension.
go out, measure it and find the stakes and do that with him and then figure it out. And that's going to be a project, a couple of weeks of project, because you're not going to figure it out all along with the easement and
well, I'm gonna, thing would be yes. Might say no, he doesn't, and we would.
I had a short talk with Leanne when I was dropping off some stuff at town hall the other day. She might have some knowledge on this too, just when I was,
Where the pins are.
and the technical / ownership of that section of road, because, so just, it would be good to
We have
talk to
a
her about that.
road book, too.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure exactly where that road book is. Dale, would you happen to?
it's upstairs.
That would be a question for Leanne.
It's upstairs in Leanne's office.
I would just, she and I had a couple-minute conversation about this, and I think it would be good to check with her, because I think she's got some very strong working knowledge on that piece of road.
What we don't want to do, and I'm saying this for the benefit of Scott, is we don't want to represent ourselves as one person. While we're bringing it up, we want to be out there and represent the board.
Absolutely.
So you're getting the permission for the board to go out and do that. That's what Joe's doing now.
Yeah.
So
Understood.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. We really need to know where all of this is. You're going to get with Kevin and the road book and
Always had a Selectmen's liaison. In my experience, that was always.
and I'd like to keep it. I had a long conversation with Jeannie, and I think at the time, I think eventually that's the way we should go. But right now, the way things are in transition, I think that it should remain, and I would like to keep it in historically, we've always kept the committees that we want to. So I think down the road, we can make that transition, but
We've always.
mm,
Suggesting that.
we've always kept
It's
what,
not a committee per se. Department, it's a different,
mm-mm.
yeah.
We've always allowed, no, we've always had that, the same, been allowed to keep it. Why change
You
now?
have always been allowed.
No, we've always, Catherine Dawson, if she wanted the planning board, she always kept the planning board. If John wanted the budget committee, he always was allowed to have the budget committee. It's the same thing. Why take that away from me now? So,
I was voted on. Was a change, even though.
you're just doing the exact opposite of what you just did with the committees. You're doing exact the opposite of what you did. Something a little bit more going on here than just the committee.
Absolutely nothing. You know what? I'll interrupt you. Make a motion.
What,
To continue with the way we're doing that as liaison and Jeannie as the HR for the police department.
what was it?
Pat is the
To
liaison.
remain,
Okay.
Pat is the
Selectmen,
liaison.
but Jeannie is HR for that department.
Well, she's HR anyway.
Would she be HR anyways?
Yes, she's HR anyway.
That can eliminate Jeannie. Well, not eliminate her, but
I guess I'm looking for more clarification what the liaison does. Just, like, I know she was involved with
Contracts.
the contract. Is that the same thing, or is that two different things? Okay.
Question. So when we looked at the other positions, there were terms on them. Does this position come with a term, or has it just been open?
This is,
Okay, so not to muddle the picture, but going forward, would it be something where we would then attach a term
Attach
to
it
it
to it,
in the
right.
future? I know that right
Next
now we
year,
couldn't, but
right.
that it being able to attach a
Right.
term to it.
But I don't see me having it next year, so.
But just saying in
Right.
the future, because if we're going to have terms on each of the other ones, maybe this is also a position we should have a term on as
Right,
well.
and what type of
I-
term? Joe is, excuse me. It would, okay, so we had a motion to have that. So we're looking for a term. I always thought it was just like every year we did it. So we're going to set it as.
So we
That's
can-
what we
I mean,
do.
it could be a
For the
one-year
term of
term.
1 year.
Sure. So, I mean,
Right.
just in
That's
terms
what
of
it is.
formalizing it,
So amend that.
motion stands.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Clarify the motion, please.
Motion,
Pat to the,
no, you can, as you heard.
to appoint Pat.
I'll second it.
Just, I'd like to ask what specifically that Pat does in that way. Guess none of them really have descriptions, but like some of the instances.
If there
where-
was the chief would call if there was a fatality, and then I would call all of you. If there was something going on that he felt that the board needed, he would call me, and then I would call everybody else. It very rarely was it ever used outside of the contract. That was a separate thing. So if there was something really important coming down or an issue, or it could be that he wanted to buy something and he wanted us to know about it first. Or is this a good time to bring it up with something like that? But that rarely happened with the chief. But we don't know what's going to happen. I mean, maybe 2 times, 3 times a year. If there's an accident, if the road closes or something like that, I would pick the phone up and say, this is happening to all 4 of you and Jeannie as soon as he calls. So that's kind of what would be happening. But with the transition of command staff, no command staff, and an interim chief, Jeannie and I talked about it. Let's wait until we get some people in place and make that transition. Oh, it's not, you don't use it that often.
The selectmen's
Right.
representative, if needed.
Exactly.
We have
Like it's a secretive thing.
liaisons in other departments. Is there a need for other liaisons to other departments?
We transferred them to Jeannie. Public Works in town. We used to have a selectman in each one of them.
Okay, that's what I thought, and
Yeah.
I wasn't.
We transferred them to Jeannie.
The only reason why I did it is the negotiations with the union seem to get very, very involved, and to have a specific selectman representing us when there's problems with that. So it comes from one. So we would talk to Pat about our feelings about it, and she was very good at negotiating those things through contracts and the different things.
And that would be separate, John. That would be separate. That would be
As
negotiated.
throughout the
right.
year, as those go on, that, that stuff would come back to us in that way
Right.
as selectman representative.
Do we have outside the chief, is there someone that is the liaison from the department to us? Or is it strictly the chief?
That's strictly the chief.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I guess my question would be if Officer Ruggles had an issue with the chief, what is his? So that's their only option. So they don't go. No, I'm just. Well, I didn't know if they go to their. I didn't know if the whoever represents them on the union.
Mm.
Does that?
They have an official grievance.
Mhm.
Right, does that go through, that's what I'm looking for, outside the chief, so outside the chief's realm, they have, the union member has a grievance.
That's correct.
So-
They filed a grievance.
Yeah, that's filed with, that's
Okay.
a human resource, an employee personnel issue. Yeah,
Well, I'm just asking that
Right.
because I'm,
that's a personnel issue, so that wouldn't involve me.
It's gone dead.
Something is wrong with my mic.
and he didn't need the microphone because.
Okay, yeah, but,
Oh, that sounds better.
hello, okay. Well, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Nay. Let the record show. The motion passes. Next thing up is the pawnbroker ordinance. Now, I know the pawnbroker ordinance was sent out. Hopefully you all had a chance to read it. There was some emails.
That was non-public. And the email, that was a non-public discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And there's
well,
some
then
other things, so that would have to be
apologize
non-public,
profusely.
yeah.
I was unaware of that.
Well, originally that we asked Jeannie about, but the other part is non-public
Mhm.
discussion.
Okay, never mind the pawnbroker
So
ordinance.
at some time, I'd like to do non-public on that.
Okay, this can wait until Jeannie gets back.
No,
Well, we can do the non-public under other business.
Tonight, we're doing that?
Can you what?
Is that tonight we're doing that?
Yeah.
Okay,
John-
I
John
couldn't hear
says
you.
It's something that shouldn't wait.
Okay, I couldn't hear what he said.
Okay, code enforcement. It's the next thing on the agenda. Has everybody had a chance to think about Mr. Bodian as our code enforcement officer?
We hired him
Did
he's
we?
been hired.
Thought we were meeting him on Monday night,
Tuesday night.
Tuesday night, and then we hired him on Tuesday night. Okie dokie. There's a good reason I wasn't there, but I'll explain that in non-public too. Never mind then.
The PAR has been signed. Sergio, I thought, because that was the motion to go
Yeah.
ahead.
Okay,
Yeah, I thought the mo-
I'm totally good with that.
I thought the motion was though we would meet him and then in non-public and then have him go out, discuss them, and then
It was, but
If it
Joe
was-
didn't understand it.
a consensus.
Okay. That takes care of all of that. Next thing up are the selectmen's reports. And the only real thing, I'm up first, the only real thing that I have is thank you all very much for your cooperation over the last year. Under difficult circumstances, and the chairman was a privilege, and thank you very much. Eric, you're up next.
Well, thank you for having the confidence in me. I'm excited. And I think there's other things that we can, now that this building is built, there's other things that we can focus on to make Tilton great. Well, that sounds bad. But just other things, other ideas. I've had some time the last couple of weeks to really think about Tilton, and I'm excited. I had people come up to me at town meeting, thanking me, talking to me. It was good. So thank you everyone that came out to town meeting. I wish we had a few more people or a lot more people, but I don't know if it was COVID or I don't know if it was just people don't care. I'm not sure. Because we had what, 49, 50 people there, and
Pat, you know this one, you won the pool.
51.
50.
51, and for the fire district meeting, which covers 2 towns,
Mhm,
we had 37.
mhm.
I don't know if that's a sign of the times. I have no idea.
Bad.
And we know that because one of the votes was by 1 vote. So
Okay. Is that your report?
that's my report.
Okey dokey. John Scanlon.
Yeah, it's sad turnout. There's some people who, in the election that ran, I would hope that they would step up. There's a lot of town things that we need volunteers for and committees and some input. And I hope that they'll step up. At the fire district meeting, think, some of us attended. One of the things that concerns me is the fire hydrants. Realizing that it's expensive, and $129,000 a year for them. At the fire district meeting, it was vowed to not pay anything for fire hydrants for the next year, which means we have no fire hydrants essentially. And there was a lot of talk, people say they don't need them because they don't have them in front of their house or anything anyway. And, a pumper can do it. It's of grave concern to me in some of the more thickly settled areas that tree streets, houses are on top of each other. Those fire hydrants, although they're there and they say that they have the right to draw from them, the problem is the aqueduct is not required to maintain them now.
Right.
Because they're not being paid for them. So that's a huge concern, especially in, like I said, the thickly settled, the tree streets up along Main Street, even through like my neighborhood. If a house catches fire and then another one does, and we don't have fire hydrants, we're going to have to shuttle our one tanker truck pumper with water back and forth. So
2,000
I
gallons
don't
at a
know
time.
how that's all going to work out, but we're going to be hearing a lot of that. Also, I know on my homeowner's insurance, it asks how far are you away from a fire hydrant. I'm not sure if it says if it works or not, but that's a concern that if any of these fire hydrants are no longer supplied, I think there's some up School Street. They go up past the school, I believe, too.
They do,
So
correct.
Those may no longer be,
All the way up to Colby
Working.
Road, just beyond that.
and beyond that, yeah. So that's a big concern. I'm sure haven't heard the last of that. But at any rate,
Truck mirror maintained by the different than the aqueduct company. I can't tell you precisely how many there are right this second, but up there on Route 3 and going around Church Street and
There's between 20 and 30, I think. It might be a little high on that, but
it was a total of what, 104?
well, there's 99 in the 99 that were in the contract. I know there's other numbers mentioned, but I think some of those are private.
So other things,
But
I'm looking
ones
forward
that
to
are
spring.
maintained.
Our town administrator, along with lots of volunteers, got stuff together. I think Gail planted some too. We get tulips. We'll be counting our tulips very soon,
Oh,
which
where?
is pretty exciting.
Where?
Everywhere. The tulips and
Oh.
daffodils from last year. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's the last year you planted.
Yes,
Oh, I'm
yes.
thinking that you guys were out there
It's a
just now.
sure sign of spring. So we've got that going on. And
Are they starting to pop up at all?
I'm gonna go look this weekend.
That'll be nice.
And
Something to give us some color.
I think that's about it for me. Thanks.
okie dokie. Pat, you're up next.
I have a couple of things. One is the senior center and opening the senior center. We have Windy Hill that has their annual meeting. There's probably maybe 10 people at the annual meeting. It's next week. I want to be able to give them permission to have it. But I'm not sure with the closing of the town buildings. We also have a couple of requests for small venue. One's a birthday party with about 15 people in it, which is great enough for social distancing at the senior center that they want to rent. So I think it's a good time now to motion that we open it up for our discretion for smaller venues that we're able to social distance, say anything under 25.
Masks.
Mask or protocol, COVID, the whole thing.
Talking limited music, potentially.
Yes, until until we open all the way, I would say that that would still be closed. But, okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
So I think it's coming where Massachusetts relaxed a bunch of stuff that I think it was today. But one of the other things is that things like entertainment in some of the bars and restaurants is now being allowed. But I think like the musicians have to be 10 feet apart, which is further than social distancing requires. So I think that I was reading someplace, so they have to perform, or no, they have to be 10 feet from the audience. So is that possible to have, if we have live music there, are they able to be 10 feet from the audience and still maintain some type of, and I don't know if that's the exact regulation, but it was just, I read it at one establishment.
That's in Massachusetts.
No, this was here in New Hampshire.
New Hampshire.
Yeah, it was in New Hampshire.
One of our,
Bands of 3, and they have to have 10 feet distance from the audience.
So you
Yeah.
put the musicians on the stage.
one of our most well-attended events is the music on Wednesday night, and it's upwards of 62 people. And to have that in the hallway, including the stage, would not give people 6 feet in
Oh,
distance
no, you couldn't have
around.
fit that
No.
many.
So we really, until we can open up fully and have that safe distance, you're better off saying no to that without having any problems, because it is the most well-attended of all of the events at the senior center on a
My
Wednesday night.
personal feeling is that that's under the purview of the
Mhm.
senior center executive committee. They've run that and run all the things through there, and we've never really, I mean, they run the programs and whatever they say goes. And as, up to this point, and I see no reason to change that right offhand. So if they didn't feel they could do it, or they, they've been real responsible in the past. So you guys decide. Yeah, John.
Should we be going by nothing less than what the state guidelines are?
I would say not, but
Right.
they've been doing that right now.
Right. And they do that also too, that the seniors pick up
Do
their
they follow
meals
the
and things
state
like that.
guidelines?
Mhm.
I guess I was curious if have any of the relaxed state guidelines have any impact on the operations of the senior center? I haven't read them all.
No, Community Action has not opened up the meals. They're still to go. They come, they're packaged, and they still,
Because I've seen like
There's no
they're going to
meals.
allow buffets to open and things like
Right.
that. So,
they haven't,
okay. Well, it's
So-
just recent, so they need time to adapt, I'm
Right.
imagining.
Community Action has not opened for a sit-down meal yet. When that happens, then we'll fully open during the day and have the program during the meal and stuff like that. But we haven't done that, right, during the protocols, right?
The rest of the meals would have to be to go yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, now you can have tables of 10. You can have more people in some of these restaurants, and they
If they come in together.
yeah, but you can still have a table of 10 where before, unless you had someone age 17 or younger, you couldn't sit at more than 6. So, if you came in as a group of 7.
I think this is a
divvy it-
moving target, kind of.
Yeah, and
you know?
I'm all for it. I just was trying to get some
Okay.
clarification for
All right.
myself.
So that's a motion.
Yeah, that was a motion.
Motion, I think someone seconded.
And I seconded it.
Yeah.
So is there any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the motion carries.
Okay, I got during town meeting, and I got a couple phone calls also. Are we as a board going to, and I know we have ordered some, are we going to put up PD signs along 93 at exit 20 to say, the blue signs that say,
Yeah, I think we should.
Yeah.
There you go.
so we need to figure out blue signs north and south on exit 19 and 20 to say that we're up here. Now,
Do we need to put one at 19?
because a lot of people with the PD would come off 19 and scoot up across the
Because the
Northfield Town Hall.
Northfield Police Department would be the one they'd encounter first. Imagine if you need police, you need them right now, kinda, coming off the highway.
Is there one there now? For
I
us?
don't know if Northfield has one.
No, but I mean, is there one for Tilton?
Yeah, you're right, Joe. Why would they ask me to do that?
Yeah, we don't need, that's Northfield.
Just exit 20,
Exit
then-
20.
and then down at Walgreens in the median strip saying that there's PDs up
Yeah.
here.
John?
I haven't ever seen any on highways or at exits to the PD, like a police department sign.
Yeah, I have.
Lodging.
Not
police.
necessarily,
Anything that says police.
not on the actual highway, but when you get to the top, it'll say, you know, gas
Police.
this way,
Police, gas.
I've
Oh,
seen them in
okay.
the past.
yeah.
Yeah.
Where it's,
Yeah,
they
I know the
almost
ones
look
you
like a
mean.
road sign.
Even if not, and of course, we're real convenient to the highway, so
Too bad we couldn't get like a tall sign
public
like that.
safety thing, I think it's prudent. Okay,
The other thing is, when do we actually vote again for opening town hall?
next week.
Okay. Catherine also asked, when we make a motion to open town hall, can we also open it for inspections for the housing standard inspections to go out and let her inspect as well? So let's keep that in mind for next week. All right, and then FYI file, there's a land use thing in there for Verizon Tower for Butters, which is in Belmont, but they sent it out for Tilton. It's on Bishop Road,
Park
and
out there.
and the hearing is March 24th. I thought maybe you might want to see that, John.
Bishop Road is pretty, I looked it up too, just to see, because I didn't know where it was. But Bishop Road is out near, I don't know if it's the 4-H grounds.
Yes, yeah.
It's 150 feet tall though, so that's the only thing I had, but I don't think it would have much of a, they must have declared it a regional impact.
And last but not least, 1231 Polly's would like to put out the 2 tables out in front of Polly's. They sent us an email. They've done it the last year was their first year that they purchased Polly's, and they had 2 tables out in front of their window, their main window, round 2 chairs. They would like to do it again this year on the sidewalk.
I'm great with that concept, but I walk by there. You can't eat without a mask or with a mask. And so you got 4 people sitting on the sidewalk. There's not, I mean, a whole lot of space, especially, in that location.
6 feet apart.
Well, the tables are 6 feet apart, but people walking by aren't necessarily.
And
I've seen servers.
I'm not sure about that, but I thought, I'll have to check with Catherine because on an outdoor venue, it's different if people were walking by the tables. So I think we need to check with her on that. As long as the tables were 6 feet apart
Okay.
and people were walking, because
The health officer is good, then I'm good.
we'll have to check with her.
You still have the floor.
I just want to make sure that
Yep.
the selectmen
Oh,
are
yes,
okay with
I'm
that, that's
good
all.
with that, sure.
Are they, I know last year's there were some I don't want to say altercation, it's a bad word. Some incidents.
When it was new and it was a 6 feet
Yeah.
apart COVID
I just
thing,
found
there
a
was,
picture on their Facebook page and they had 2 tables right there and right there.
Yeah.
So
it needs to be 6 feet apart,
There
And they-
seems like there were issues and there was,
the learning curve.
well, as long as everything is copacetic this time and we don't have any more of those type incidents.
I agree.
Is this specifically as we continue to have COVID protocols? Or is this going to continue after the COVID protocols?
The tables would continue because they're just getting permission.
Right, that they would like to have it, I'm assuming that there are other restaurants downtown that would like to do that as well on the sidewalks. But we can allow it as long as the sidewalk is wide enough to get the wheelchair a wheelchair down, there's like 36 inches still on the sidewalk with the tables. That's why they have a little, like a patio, if you would, table that
Yeah, yeah.
suits too. On the other side, I don't think Casamigos, until we redo the sidewalk, it might be different, has that depth in the sidewalk to be able to do that. They may be able to push it down a little bit and have it, but on the other, on Polly's side and above, if there was restaurants there, I think you could have that depth.
There's width, yeah.
We had a coffee shop, well, you might remember, we had a coffee shop up at the end. They had a little patio. We allowed them to have a patio up there as well.
I like it for the ambiance. I was just wondering
Mhm.
if this is about COVID protocol or not, or if we're
Well,
going
it
to
would
continue.
have to be. with
Well, it has to be
COVID
both.
protocol,
Oh,
and
good, okay.
Catherine would be the approver. She's the
Okay.
health officer.
Right.
I think the only way you could do it at Casamigos is if you put Jersey barriers in that
Took a-
two
took a-
spaces
took a
right
parking
there.
spot, yeah.
But then you're taking two spaces, but it's the only way they could be able to serve outside, because if you put two tables there.
So that's to be seen. Yep.
Well, I think they tried it last year and that's what they discovered is that
Oh, there
they
you
take
go.
up the whole sidewalk.
And
But
can't,
the sidewalk's
we
only
can't,
36 inches wide, so.
Right.
during the summertime, we can't allow two spaces to be used for.
And that does, I believe the state is still allowing their liquor licenses to carry out outside as
That's
well.
true. That's true.
Right. All right. Well,
Um,
and we can get back to them and
Transfer outside.
let them know that.
Yep.
All right, I'm done. Thank you.
okay. I do have, I'm just going to sign this paper, and somebody named Jack something or other signed it as a selectman.
Oh, you know what? I started to sign and I had already, just got that.
Oh.
Just sign next to it. so-
I thought it was.
Yeah, okay.
That when you're done.
Okey doke. All right, I'll sign down at the bottom right here.
Or just sign next to that cross out. Whatever.
I did that on the first one, though. I didn't know what was going on, but, all right. All right, okay, the next thing on the agenda is Scott Ruggles.
So I will keep it brief, but I just wanted to give thanks to the members of the select board, the people that I was able to meet at town meeting, and everyone down at town hall who's been so welcoming so far and very helpful with everything. So it's been good, and I look forward to the next 3 years.
Outstanding.
Get some cards too.
I do have cards, yes.
Right on top of it, I'm telling you.
Not me. That was Gail.
That's Gail.
so.
I know. Mm-hmm.
Well, I like my paper nameplate. I wrinkled it tonight. I need to I wrinkled that.
Okay. Next thing is other business. Is there any other business to come before us? Tim?
Yes, I just have one item, and it's pertaining to the FCC application that we have to fill out and submit. And I am requesting that the board appoint me to fill out the application, sign it, submit it, and any supplementary paperwork that has to be done for that FCC input frequency. So this is primarily, it's a administrative contact for the FCC so that when they send out notices and that sort of thing, they would come and I'd have a distribution list set up to go to the chief and Jeannie and myself in the town. But this paperwork, it's all related and it's all done through our vendor, and it's relating to the input and output frequency interference that we've been having. So this is something that's been going on for a long time because our frequencies are too close together. And this is something that the vendor has recommended. There should be a minimum of 3 megahertz between the frequencies. And right now we're at about 1.3 between them. So, anyway.
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but I will make a motion to appoint Tim Pearson to be, to fill out and sign all paperwork associated with the FCC. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. I'm gonna wait 15 seconds. See if Pat comes back.
We have,
I guess not.
we have 2 people on public, but we can get them after. And it looks like there's 5 comments.
I can't see that far. Okay,
Yep, there's 5 comments.
I believe it was pertaining to the microphone earlier, but I will check.
okay. Well, hearing no further discussion. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye,
Aye.
with one not voting. Okay, can you tell me, is there any other business to come before us this evening?
I guess there's a couple questions up there. I see, is Eric the new chair?
Yeah,
From Charles? Yes,
yes, Eric is the new
starting
chair.
next week. Voice, I think we got the sound straightened out.
Okay, we just voted on appointing Tim to fill out and sign the appropriate FCC paperwork. It passed. I'm not sure at this point what exactly RSA to quote if we're going into
Either
non-public.
personal reputation.
Okay, and I make a motion at the time being.
Be also too, because it's
safety.
the public safety, it's the police that,
Okay, I'm going to ask you, Gail, to fill in the proper RSAs to make sure that we have everything totally legal. The time being 6:03, I make a motion to go into non-public session per RSA. Insert Gail here. Is there a second?
second,
We have a motion and a second on the floor. Roll call vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Constantino.
Constantino, yes.
Pyra.
Ira, yes.
Jessamine, yes. Ruggles.
Ruggles, yes.
Scanlon, yes.
Okay, we are in non-public session.
Oh, I thought that was
6:30. I make a motion to seal. Yes,
Second, Tyra.
get a motion.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion.
Yeah, there was conversation there's been recent conversation and we need to keep on it. What we're going to do with next door in the ball field and grading it and all that. There's been some talk about different things and how we're going to do it. So, and what we're going to use it for. So that's important to stay on that and try and get some kind of direction because we're getting near the time where it would start being used.
Has the Parks Commission come up with a definitive plan they want to submit? I haven't seen anything.
I
There's
believe there
talk.
was a quote of around $80,000 to grade it.
They're looking into the possibility of a ball field,
A
but there
football
were-
field or a
there-
softball field?
softball, but they're having a meeting, I think, next week.
And we have a ex officio.
But there is a lot of Facebook coverage on that somehow school board got involved in it and there was some incorrect information that got out there that the town of Tilton booted the football field out. And now there's some discussion on who owns the shack and there's a lot of discussion that's going on right now between the Parks Commission and the Winnisquam football versus a certain person on the school board that lives in Northfield.
Shouldn't it be the school district and the Parks Commission? I mean, but
It was a Winnisquam Football
But-
Association.
that was when it was private. It's now the school district it is a funded program from the school.
That's correct. The Friends of Winnisquam football own the shack or whatever.
Currently,
Yeah.
this field, this Route 132 ball field is under purview of this Board of Selectmen
That's correct.
Correct.
until we
give it back to the
until we give
parks.
it back to the parks. But I think that we should work in cohesion, that's not the right word, work in conjunction with the Parks Department on a plan.
Hmm.
The issue that, from what I read, was that someone asked someone from the school to remove some type of storage container, and then it blew up from there.
Yeah, but nobody asked anybody to remove the
Well,
container. As
that's a
far as I
question.
know,
Did
is that
someone
true?
ask- Did someone
Who
from the
asked
town?
to remove the container?
It's a member of a school board that put their mouth where it shouldn't belong.
She wanted it moved.
He,
He wanted it moved. Well, that's got nothing to do with the town
Right,
of
well,
Tilton.
right. And so rather than have a discussion on it, the
Yeah.
Parks Commission is trying to resolve the back and forth. And so, but meanwhile, they're trying to come up with a plan of what they really want for the ball field to present to the board so that we can say, okay, that's reasonable, let's do it.
Well, it's going to be a year, I would
Yeah.
think,
Mhm.
anyway, before anything comes, because it's going to cost $80,000, $100,000 or more and that's a warrant article.
Mhm.
John?
Or donations.
One of my concerns is that, I'm in support of the sports for our community. One of my concerns is that if they're saying and they want it for the JV field, that's a school district use. This is the town of Tilton. Who's paying for it? The taxpayers of the town of Tilton. It's not coming through money from the school district. So we have to be careful. Who are we answering to on that? So we
Right.
need to make
I
sure that
didn't
we do
agree with
something.
it
Yeah.
last time, John, that it's used as a football field supported by the town of Tilton, who doesn't technically have a football field or a
Or
football
a separate
team,
team.
always rubbed me the wrong way. And for the taxpayer to spend another $100,000 on making this field over here into a football field, it's just what you said. This
Three
is a
ways.
school
It's
board thing.
three-town school district. If we're making a baseball field or something like that, or, a softball field for our teams in the whole community, not just specifically catered to the needs of the school district, that's a different thing.
So
So
if
I
it
want
was
to
a
be careful that when,
multi-use field, that would be,
I would have a much easier time.
Right.
I think that you really have to look at when we finish graveling this, to see where that edge is, to see when they get rid of the construction trailer and they kind of level off what they've done. I think it's really hard to put any use to that field until we kind of have a better picture of what we're left with.
Pat?
so not to change the subject, but I would like to thank Chuck Mitchell and all of the staff and all of the clerks and supervisors of the checklist. Because during these times, I got to tell you, it represented a well-run town meeting election. I was very impressed. So a huge thank you, shout out to Chuck and his whole team for running the elections. It was bravo.
Agreed. And I would like to mention Mrs. Mitchell specifically as part of that team because behind every great man and so forth,
Well, I
Mrs.
didn't
Mitchell,
want to,
Mrs. Mitchell is the queen.
better you said that than me, but
I would, to speak just for a minute on the field, I think, and I'll try to get to the Parks Committee meeting next week. I think when we look at it, and people will know that I'm a massive supporter of youth sports, high school sports, et cetera. But when we're talking about community use, I think looking at something that can add value to the community, that's not just a one season, 3 event value, but value that can encompass everything, with the rink in the winter, but then what is going to be there that could be used literally from the time the thaw comes all the way until we get frozen again.
I want to see the best use for the property. I'm certainly not opposed to an athletic facility of some sort.
great asset out there.
Oh yeah, that's a hot property there. Did you have one other? Okay, is there any other business to come before us tonight in a public session? Second, a motion to adjourn is non-debatable. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Not me.